I'm going to try something new. I did try something new on my last Mexican Crossing Lines, which was kind of like a way for people to interact with me, I guess, because people want me to comment on things or answer questions and stuff. And I get it. It's fun to do this interaction, and then sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work very well. Some people really liked that they were able to ask questions, interact with me. Other people, not so much. Some folks got really upset because when I interacted with them, I had something to say to them they didn't like. And I guess that's kind of the nature of human interaction. But I wanted to try something different. I wanted to give you that, but also keep doing my job. Like I want to interact with my fan base, but also keep doing what I do on a Mexican Crossing Lines without having to change my format and the way that I do journalism. So I came up with this idea. I will pick stuff from my news feeds, from Twitter or from Tumblr or from Facebook, or maybe just Facebook or the news, or, stuff that y'all send me in my email and are wondering, what do I think of this? What do I think of that? Or just what I see that people are talking about that kind of seems to be taking over my news feed. I'll take a look at some of those things and go, what in the heck are people talking about this for? So today I have picked out an assortment of things, and Nemo's going to show them to me. I haven't actually looked at them. I was just kind of glancing at things. You know how you bookmark things? You're like, I'm going to look at this later. Why is everyone talking about this? So I picked out a bunch of things that looked interesting to moi, and I will be putting these all on. It's going to be a whole series, hopefully, if you like it, if you guys like this, if it's enjoyable to you, and it serves this purpose of interaction with y'all that allows me to have that interaction with my fans, but also do my show on a Mexican Crossing Lines the way that I usually do it. I'm going to give you this added content. And from now on, now that I've shared with you that this content will be an exchange between my fans and me, I will let you know that you can go follow me on at Cindy Gomez-Schempp on Facebook. You can go to my public page at Cindy Gomez-Schempp, and we will drop that into the comments of this show at the end, along with this Cindy Reacts video. This content will be for the web only. We'll probably put it on YouTube too. So this will be just web content for all of you to get to know more about the Cindy herself. So this is Cindy Reacts, a Mexican Crossing Lines reacts to a series of things. You can also follow us. Remember, the only way you'll be able to get this content after today is to go to my public page. So we will share where you can go find us, where you can go find my public page at Cindy Gomez-Schempp. And then Facebook doesn't like me right now. I don't know what it's doing this for. It's just being mean to me. Hopefully Lizzie can throw those in the comment section, because it's not working for me right now. But you can also follow us on Facebook, of course, at 88.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead, and Mexi-Can. So I'm going to have my engineer start me off with the first thing I am reacting to. What is this? Oh, okay. Yes, I saw this on my Facebook feed today. It appears that a judge has dismissed the federal case against Cliven Bundy and Sons and bars a retrial. So basically, a get out of jail free card with no expiration date. Like they're not going to have to pay for their crimes. And I guess I can't help but think of the difference between how these white men that openly taunted the federal government with firearms are able to get away with this when unarmed, peaceful protesters went to Standing Rock and had hell unleashed on them in the form of, all of these different less than lethal weapons, as they called them. But what I saw is that people's lives were put in danger. Life and limb were literally put in danger at Standing Rock. And these people, they were treated like, they could do no harm, like they could do no wrong. They literally threatened agents of the state with firearms, basically taunted them and said, hey, you want a piece of me? Come get it. And this is the response. But also, have we ever gotten rid of the KKK? Nah, because that's how we do in these United States. This is just a reminder of what our justice system is really about. It's for white people, for the white people. So yeah, am I surprised? Am I shocked? No. But also, what a slap in the face. Like, doesn't it just feel like somewhere there's a justice in a hall somewhere going, ha, this will really make the black people angry. This will really make the Native Americans angry because they're protesting being murdered by cops or being, having racial, eco destruction on the basis of race done to black people and brown people, Native American people. And that is met with brutal repression. But these people are celebrated as, innocent people when we know they're not. So that's a very insulting thing. I guess that's my reaction to that. Okay, next. What am I reacting to next? Oh, the pedo cop. Did you guys see this? I don't know if you saw this. This showed up on my feed today. So there's this cop. I'm going to look at it right now because I have not really seen the whole thing. But this pedo cop, apparently, he's a police chief in Pennsylvania. That's what the headline says. And this Splinter magazine written by David Bodiger. And there's this dude that tweeted this out named Mike Holden. Justin Leechburg Police Chief Mike Diebold mugshot. He's now on the other side of the law, sitting in the Westmoreland County Prison. Bond at $500,000. Well, at least they gave him an appropriate bond amount. And since he's a chief of police, the fact that he's actually behind bars is amazing. Here's the thing. I'm guessing that he must have been on somebody's poop list. Because, police kill black people and brown people with impunity. And if they're punished at all, I'm always very how'd that guy get through? How'd he get punished? Let's see what else. Mike Diebold. He was arrested and charged Friday for setting up a sexual encounter with an online user he thought was a 14. Oh, he must have done somebody very wrong. He's got a $500,000 bond, and he didn't even touch a real child. He wants to. He is a pedophile. He likes children. He was going to meet with a 14-year-old girl, or so he thought. as it turned out, his target was actually a fellow cop. Oh, yes. My guess is this is a lot more prevalent among psychopaths with guns that are allowed to do whatever they want without ever being punished, aka the cops. Because, yeah, that's what happens when you give people all of this power, and they're going to test the limits of their power, first of all. They're going to test their limits as far as they can get, and then they turn into monsters. That's what happens to them. And if you don't think the politicians are the same, you would be wrong about that. He was charged with unlawful contact with a minor and criminal attempt to commit involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, pedophilia. The Attorney General Josh Shapiro called the case particularly heinous because it was committed by someone who had sworn to serve and protect the community. Okay, excuse me, but the institution of policing is in and of itself problematic because of the slavery, you see, and the chain gangs and the prison industrial complex and so forth. So you can't become part of this thing that is set up to do slave catching and incarcerate black people and brown people en masse and kill them and say, but this particular criminal is worse than all the rest of the cops because he swore, all of them swore to protect. All of them swore an oath. You know what y'all don't know? What you don't know is that there's no real law that says cops have to uphold the law. So when you're talking about cops and you say, I hear this all the time from people, they're just enforcing the law. They're not required by law to enforce the law. They're not required by law to enforce particular laws. They're not required to enforce the law equitably. They're not required to enforce the law all of the time. In fact, most of the time that laws have changed to hold cops in any way accountable to do their jobs, it has been because they have let so many people die. In other words, they have failed to do their jobs. They have literally failed to uphold the law, to enforce the law, to protect and serve so often, so much that they had to be forced in some way to actually stop the dying. I'll give you an example. Up until the 70s, I believe it was completely legal for you to rape your wife. You could not accuse your husband of raping you, even if your husband raped you, because you were considered, if you married a man, to have consented forever. And cops, most of which are men, agree with this. So when they would show up at a domestic disturbance and the lady was all bloody or whatever, and she said, under threat of being killed by her spouse, nothing is wrong here. Please leave. I'm fine. Or I made a mistake when I called y'all at 911. I have nothing to report. The cops could leave. The cops did leave. The cops always left. They didn't care. They're like, bye, see ya. And so women died all the time. Women died and died and died and died and died and died and died until like in the mid 80s, there was a case where a woman had to repeatedly call the cops and her husband literally stabbed her to death. I believe within minutes of the cops coming for the second or third time and ignoring her desperate plea for life. So after that happened, she was the death on the cherry death on top of the sundae of death of the women in America to domestic violence. And after that, the cops were held accountable. They said, if a cop goes to a place, you would think cops would not have to be told this, but they had to tell them. If a cop goes to a place, is called to a place for a emergency of some sort, and they see in the case of domestic abuse, domestic violence, that there is evidence, clear evidence. There's bruising, there's blood. You can tell there's an altercation. There is evidence. If there's evidence of imminent danger also, then they have to take the person away. They have to put somebody in jail. They have to protect the victim. And do you know how sexist, misogynist, how much cops love rape culture, worship rape culture, support rape culture? They love it so much that since the advent of this new rule, of this new law, which requires them to take somebody in, they err on the side of taking both parties in. Because you know what? If he's going to have to start paying for domestic violence, she's going to have to go too. So we see with this new rule, the advent of cops showing up and hauling away women too, because they were involved in a situation where clearly, a majority of the time, the man is the aggressor. So that's my reaction to that. Oh, wait, let me see. There's one more thing that caught my eye here. P.S. The highest index of domestic abuse is among cops. So, yeah, there's that also. Diebold was arrested at a local convenience store. Wish I could have been a fly on that wall. Where he planned to meet the fictional teenager who he chatted with on Kik. I don't know what Kik is. It's probably like some Snapchat thing and chat. What can you explain? If you could explain Kik to me, I've never heard of Kik.
Hey guys, this is Nemo here off screen.
Oh, thank you.
And Kik is basically just a popular chat texting app for kids often, or at least a lot of teens use it. I know a lot of teens that use it, and adults get on it too because they want to know what their kids are up to. And sometimes creepy cops are also on there.
Is it something that erases all your messages afterwards, like Snapchat? Or
I don't think it does. I know Snapchat, explicitly does that, and there's been documentaries about how adults do that as part of their business to make sure that everything is deleted and also put on shows for people. But yeah,
putting on shows.
Yeah, there was actually like a web documentary or something about this, and I only glanced at it, but I was kind of like both disturbed and yet fascinated in a morbid way. Does that make sense?
Does it have to do with sex?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to know. Okay, so yeah, these kinds of apps. I asked about the Kik thing. Thank you for the assist, Nemo. Because I think these apps have a shady aspect of like sexual lasciviousness to them that make it. Every time someone's like, "Are you on Snapchat?" I'm like, ew. No, I'm not on Snapchat. So anyway, let's see what else. Oh God. So the police chief had been well known in the area after he lost his arm in a fireworks accident. Oh, white people and their fireworks. So he has a one-armed pedophile cop walks into a convenience store. I'm sorry, that was really funny to me. A one-armed pedophile cop walks into a convenience store and his profile name is Cute Cop for You. Oh. Cute Cop spelled with a K-U-T-E and the letter 4. Or the number 4, excuse me. He describes himself as dominant male officer. Ew. Who seeks fun, discreet sub playmate. Sub. What does that mean? Is that like a bottom?
I'm very sure that's BDSM related.
Oh, really? Man, this guy, he's a freak. This guy's a freak. Allegedly told Diebold several times that he was chatting with a minor, but the police chief set up the meeting anyway after also sending what the news stations said were inappropriate images. There you have it. He sent the D-pic and continuously asking for sex. Oh my God. He has a black robotic arm. It's very creepy. Okay, I'm done reacting to this. I'm done. I need some water. Water. Next. Ooh.
Now, this is a video that you picked out to react to, so
okay.
Sit back or comment throughout, whatever.
Alrighty then. I'm waiting. This is the speech that people were freaking out about? I don't get it. I don't understand what was so moving about that. It kind of ticked me off. To be honest, I was kind of pissed off. I was just like, Oprah, you're kind of taking the suffering of black people, comparing it. Like, this woman was literally assaulted in much the same way, similar circumstances as a slave. Like, because they had no, like, you were going to do it or die, and you couldn't do anything in recourse. We're talking about comparing that to white women in Hollywood, many of whom chose to have the sexual encounters and continue to have them so they could keep a job. Yes, it humiliated them. Yes, it shouldn't have been tolerated. And women shouldn't have to tolerate that in the workplace. But it's not the same thing. You can't compare the two. It's very problematic. I didn't like it. It made me And then, of course, here's my next thing I'm going to react to. This is something I saw. This is a local radio show host from another station. I've been on his show. We butt heads a lot. And he posted Oprah 2020. NBC and celebs dub Oprah Winfrey our future president after Golden Globes. Okay? After Golden Globes, okay? Oh, I see. After the Golden Globes. Okay, he's saying like, I'm not surprised that he would post something like this to get reactions from his audience because he's a racist. Jay Thomas is conservative, he likes the cops type of a dude, you know? Like, he's that kind of guy. He's always like having the cops on, and he really is like very much conservative values type of Republican blah 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 person. And there's a lot of people talking about the possibility of Oprah running, and that to them is like when Barack Obama ran for office. They were terrified, like, a black man. Can you imagine what it's going to do to white people, especially racist white people, who can't stand to see a person of color doing well? Having another black president, it would kill them. They would literally catch on fire and die. That's what they're freaking out about. And it makes me laugh because I didn't see as many white people freaking out about the possibility of psycho Cheeto Head becoming their president. Nazi Cheeto head. But the prospect of a black woman that is so beloved and well known becoming the president scares the bejeebus out of white people. They're like, no, no, no. But you know what? I don't think she would be any different than Obama. Didn't you learn anything? Did you not learn from Obama? Obama was the necessary thing that we needed next. Okay? Like, ever since the country, ever since conquest, has been ebbing and flowing back and forth between the colonizer and the colonized, and the relationship between the two, one of massive genocide, theft, rape, oppression, repression with violence, and then the people rising up and trying to liberate themselves and achieve human rights, right? And then following that spike in the uprising of people, there's violent repression that follows it for a long time, as the backlash period. During that backlash period in the history, the people in power, which in our society is white supremacy, the people in power analyze that uprising and go, how do we avoid that from happening ever again? And they come up with some idea of how they're going to squash the next uprising, and then promptly go back to oppressing the colonized, go back to exploiting them, milking them for every drop of blood and every ounce of sweat. And those people will endure and survive through this next period of time until they can't anymore. And then another uprising will occur as they clamor for their lives. And each time that happens, each time there is another uprising, there will be another backlash. Just like there was when people were about to come in a groundswell after the civil rights movement backlash, after Martin Luther King was killed and Malcolm X was killed, and there were so many people that were martyred during that period of time. All of the people in the Black Panther Party leadership were rounded up, arrested, exiled, killed. So that's how that uprising was dealt with by our government. COINTELPRO, the CIA, the FBI. The federal government killed these people. And operatives close to them are still in power today. Jesse Jackson, I'm looking at you. So, it's true, Jesse Jackson helped in the assassination of Martin Luther King. If you didn't know, you need to study more. You need to learn about that. But every new black leader they put in front of us, like Jesse Jackson, who incidentally went to Standing Rock. What has he done since he helped to kill Martin Luther King? Make money off the suffering of black people, broker deals. Every time there's a situation, you know what they did? You know what they did to him and to others like him, like Sharpton, who parachuted in to the latest place where black people were being lynched by the cops? They said, get the F out. Black people said, not today, Satan. You're not going to co-opt the death of my child so you can broker a deal for yourself. Because that's what these sold out Oreos, coconuts, apples are out there for. They're for themselves. They're like, oh, the latest tragedy. Savannah Greywind died. Let me get my horses down there. They don't even know her, don't care about her family. But they want to capitalize on the suffering and the pain of the people. Well, at the time that Barack Obama was about to be made president, or right before, the country was in a place where we could no longer endure the inequalities. After the civil rights movement and due to the backlash of the deaths of all those black leaders, organizing among people of color was at its zenith. And incidentally, Barack Obama was also an organizer? What? The most significant thing about Barack Obama was not that he was a senator, nor that he was educated at Yale in law. It was that he was an organizer. Why? Because black people and brown people, ever since what happened during the civil rights movement right before I was born, were trying to organize for their liberation, especially because the backlash was destroying their unity, destroying their networks, destroying their power base, their organizations, their groups, arresting leadership, and leaving everything in tatters. So it took a long time for black and brown people to rebuild, for black and brown people to build power. And the government knew it. The government saw. We had increased the people on voter registrations all over the country. The base was strong. The organization was very strong. There had not been organization like this seen before. So they gave the people what they were dreaming of. We want an intelligent, for the people of color president that will lead, thinking of the people of color first, that will organize the base of the powerless people of color. And Barack Obama showed up and pretended he would do all of those things. He didn't explicitly say he would. He didn't say, I'm going to organize all of the poor people of color in this country. He just said, by the way, I'm an organizer. And I am black, and I happen to be black. He let you make assumptions about what he would do. And then he did none of those things. He sided with white power and white privilege. He rounded up millions and millions of people of color and put them in jail, in cages, in detention centers, into slavery. He bombed millions and millions of black and brown people all over the country, all over the world, so that white supremacy and supremacists can remain in power and become richer, while people of color all over the world become poorer and stay poorer because of leaders like him. We were ready for the picking. We were low-hanging fruit, us people of color, us poor people in America, desperate for change. So Barack Obama came in and exploited it. And if you don't think that the massive doses of white nationalist poison being dumped into your system via Trump and his administration isn't going to have you jonesing for an Obama type fix, you're going to wait. You're going to hope and pray for Popra. You're like, Popra, please save me. So that when it comes to the 2020 election, you are going to run to the polls. You're going to run to the polls to vote for Popra. But she is just another Obama in disguise. Who did she endorse for president? Who did Oprah endorse for president? Who did Oprah back? Who did Oprah give probably millions of dollars to? I mean, Oprah kinged. She knighted this guy, and anything Oprah touches, the Oprah effect goes into effect. They become the next biggest business in the world. She did that with a man. She's like, I could do that with a human too. I'm Oprah. So she took Barack Obama and she's like, you will be the next most important Negro in America. And then he was. So can she do it to herself? She could. But here's what I have to say to Oprah. Not that she probably would hear this, but if she does, Oprah, if you're listening, here's what I would say to you. You have managed to be beloved by Black people and people of color alike, including white people, because you are a moderate. Because you just said it. Representation is really very important, especially to little girls. Representation is also important to adults, and it always remains important. And since we didn't have any representation, because we still don't have enough representation, people only have you to like. We all loved Cosby because that was my only choice. I would be hard pressed to say there's probably a lot of Black people who will still say they love the Cosby Show and the Huxtables because there wasn't anything else on at the time. I bet you if you take people from that time frame and ask them what their favorite show featuring an all Black cast was, that would be one of their only answers. So there wasn't any other talk show hosts like Oprah. There isn't anything else like Oprah. People have tried to copy what Oprah did. You can't copy it anymore because the saturation and more representation of people means we don't need an extra copy of Oprah. Let's have something different now, right? Like, why does everyone have to do exactly what Oprah did? Because Oprah did it, you know? It could be something else, like juggle plates on TV or something. I don't know, but, you know, it doesn't have to be her. And as far as her image in communities of color, I think people love her, and I think people will continue to love her because they don't know her. And, you know, not really. Like, you don't know Oprah personally. You know what kind of dog she has, and you know about her long-term partner, but you don't know what she's really like behind closed doors as a person, right? And also, everything associated to her, everything you can associate to her as a celebrity, which is what she is, feels good. She is in your mind as one of the people in a movie you liked, or one of the people that recommended a product on her favorite things show, which is now your favorite thing. Maybe you went to see one of her shows in the studio audience and got one of the many gifts that she gives out. Who knows? Maybe you watched one of her shows and it made you cry. Or it turned you on to Dr. Phil or Jan Van Zandt or one of the other many people she made into kings after being on her show. But all of it, for the most part, is associated with positive things. All good things, right? What's going to happen to you, Oprah, after you become president, if you decide to go down that road, is you won't be associated with all positive things anymore. You will be associated with negative things. And as a Black woman, people are going to go hard on you. Hard in a way that Black women, Black little girls, and women of color everywhere are going to have to suffer along with you. So keep that in mind. Next. What is this? Oh.
Yes, this is an article, and it's titled, "The Weeknd Quits H&M Partnership Over Racist Ad." Quote, "I'm deeply offended."
This child is in a shirt that says something about monkeys. Okay. So yeah, it's very problematic.
It's, quote, "I'm the coolest monkey in the jungle."
Mm-hmm. You know that the people over there at H&M and their ad campaign saw this. I mean, they probably have somebody that looks over every single one of these things before it goes out. And they could have stopped this from going out, but somebody thought this would be funny. Somebody thought, what are black people going to do anyway? They can't stop us from doing that. I think it's mean-spirited and evil and disgusting. I don't know about H&M very much because I don't shop there. So I guess boycott H&M if you shop there. I don't even shop there. I would never shop there now, though. And The Weeknd, that band, the group, they had a partnership, I guess, with this company. And they no longer do. Now, that's powerful. When people of color that have those kinds of relationships can sever those relationships. Yeah. And also people of color in solidarity say, we're not going anymore. We don't go to this place anymore. Yeah. So that's horrible, disgusting nonsense. Microaggression. What's next? What have you got for me?
We have some palette cleansers picked out.
Okay, let me see. Oh.
It's loading a little bit slow.
It doesn't like you. Ah.
Hang on a second. Sorry about this.
That's awful. Although I would still eat that cake. Why were they using a Sharpie? Oh no. This one is awful right here. The knife one. Oh! That happens to me every day, probably. The spoon one. I already know what's going to happen. We're going to cut over the line. There it goes. Just go ahead. That one didn't even hurt me. Ah! That was awful. Why? What? What the hell is this person doing? That's terrible. This is just like an annoyance list, right? Like things to... Why would you put this on why would you tag somebody you like and force them to see this? Oh, God. Why? Just put it into a blender or something. Jesus. Is it over? Yeah. That was it?
Yeah, that's it. That was it for
No.
that.
How can it stop in mid thing?
I don't know.
Is that how it goes?
Oh, nope.
See? Oh, yeah. I'm not annoyed by that. I'm okay with that. I do it. That doesn't bother me. I'm cool. Go ahead. Chop it up into little pieces. It's fine. I'll still eat it.
As a baker, it would annoy the heck out of me.
I would still eat it. That doesn't bother me at all.
There was an actual part of a lesson when you're baking the cake, also a process in cutting the cake, along with cutting pies. If you didn't do it right, then it would knock down your grade.
I don't even care. I'm so cool. Okay, what's next?
All right, up next is this.
Yeah, that's right.
What the hell is that? What? Everything on their menu is made with ranch. I know white people like ranch. Mac and cheese. No! Why would you do that to mac and cheese? Put ranch in it. What? No. That's wrong. No! Ugh. Okay, ranch with fries, I could try it, but... What is wrong with people? No, it's okay. I could eat that. I would eat that.
That's right.
But ranch-infused vodka? Bleh. What the hell are you thinking? No. Absolutely not. That's a real restaurant. Some people were posting that. That's a around here in these parts, it's called Twisted Ranch, or what's it called?
Yeah, I think it's called Twisted Ranch.
I can't remember.
That's what you titled it to me anyway.
I think it's called Twisted Ranch.
Yeah, like I understand, like I understand if you like cheese and you
this is
load
not
everything
ranch.
with cheese.
Ranch is not cheese. Cheese is its own food group.
Right, but ranch?
Ranch. Well, I'm just gonna say it out loud, okay? That's some white people stuff right there. That's some white people shiz, because it's you guys are the ones that eat the ranch. You guys love the ranch. This is like pumpkin latte spice. This is some white people stuff right there. Because I
would say actually that pumpkin latte spice was Columbus by white people because pumpkins are indigenous. Let's be real.
Yes, but they put it on everything. Like you drink it, you like that. You're right about that.
Columbus.
That was Columbus. But I will say that the ranch dressing, it's I'll eat it. It's good for certain things, but not on everything. And it just seems like white people have ranch all the time. And everything.
White people, please stick to your cheese. We know you love it, at least. Yeah. So
go for the cheese. Go for the cheese. All right. Give me something new.
I believe that's actually it for that list.
That's all?
Yep.
I did it?
Yes.
I'm done reacting?
Yeah.
Yay! Hey, that wasn't too bad. Let me see. Are there any let me jump on the comments and see if there are any comments about this. Ranch doesn't go out of season like pumpkins. Haha. True stuff. What else do we have here? That's food they have to sell. With ranch dressing, though. Like, so much ranch dressing. I don't know. In your drink, would you drink a drink with ranch dressing in it? I wouldn't do that. There's something very wrong with that. And whoever came up with the concept for that restaurant, no, I don't know what you were thinking, but no. I mean, the person that makes everything into, like, has peanut butter in it, or there's some places that do weird things like that.
Yeah, like it's like hyper focused on like 1 to 2.
Or everything is made in a sandwich that the bread is a donut. I can get down with that.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that peanut butter and jelly restaurant thing? Yeah, there's that.
That's
and
okay.
Then, yeah,
that's
cool because that's, common, favorite thing, comfort food. Then of course there's cheese restaurants or pizza restaurants, and it gets a little crazy there too. I've seen like specific like cookie dough restaurants, and it's like, okay, cool, I get it.
Well, everyone, that blue cheese is better. I'm a blue cheese girl. I could totally see, but I still wouldn't want a whole restaurant made out of blue cheese. Everything has blue cheese in it. I think this concept will be a failure, but that's just me. I'll probably be wrong. They'll have a franchise in every town because white people love ranch.
Right. Listen, if it's white supported, it's going to last a long time. All right.
Probably right. All right. That's it. That's all I got to react to today. I will try and do maybe like one a week, just so that I can stay up on the kind of things that y'all are talking about that I would never talk about, because it's just not fodder for my show. But for some reason, you guys send me things that you would like me to talk to you about, that just, you just want to know more about what I think. And I've gotten some interesting emails and questions for both Duke and I. Somebody asked me today if Duke considers himself an American. So I had to ask him, and he was like, "What? I was born in America. What do you mean? Do I consider myself an American?" I'm like, "Yes." The person in the email is asking me if you consider yourself an American, because I guess because I said I consider myself a Mexican. Like, how do I identify? I'm still an American citizen because I was born here, but I identify as Mexican. So he wanted to know, what does my husband identify as? He'll have to do his own show, I guess, and tell you, maybe. Or I'll just have him answer that question on my next Mexican Crossing Lines. Anyway, that was my Cindy Reacts. I'll put these up on my fan page, or on my public page, as I'm supposed to say. My public page. And you can go check it out there. If you don't know if you haven't already followed my fan page or my personal page, you can find it. Where is it? Oh,
Well, it's at it's on Facebook at Cindy Gomez-Schempp. You can see it in the little description bar that I made.
right. But I will also drop it into the comments.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. This will be special content that we'll put only on my fan page. So if you follow my page, you'll get to see me react to other stuff. And I will see you all on my next Mexican Crossing Lines. I'm out.